Hey, how's it going? It's our March feature update roundup. Kevin, how are you doing?
Good, good. I'm doing well, ready to talk about some new stuff we got going on.
Yeah, and so we do this every month. If you don't know, it's one of the ways that we want to stay connected with our users and our community here. So we do get a chance to talk about the product itself and what's going on here in terms of updates. So we're always working on this. And so if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so on YouTube. That should be youtube.com/Pebble REI. And then you can also hit that bell notification. Just give that a gentle tap, and then you'll get notified when you see these. Because we're finding out a lot of people, even a lot of our longtime users, aren't even aware of some of the changes. And I get it. There's a lot to keep up with. And if you ever want a refresher, you can shoot us an email. We can hop on a call. Happy to do so. But these are what these videos are about. And we're going to jump right into it because we've got a bunch of things we want to share with you today. All right, Kevin, I'm going to let you run the show here. Let's talk the first thing here. We've got our action plan search. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so let me share my screen here so we can get this going. So for those of you who are using action plans, um, we've heard that some people create a lot of those action plans. Maybe you've got very specific plans for different types of leads, or you have specific plans for like different areas that you're working with, and
Mm,
quickly you can start creating plans where you have many of them. And then when it comes to enroll somebody in a follow-up plan, those plans can be hard to find, because previously when you would click this enrollment button, you would just see all of your plans listed. And if you had 100 plans, you would see all 100 plans. So, what we've added now is just the ability to search by name. So, I can quickly, uh, search for test plan here and I'll get that. So, for those of you who are creating lots and lots of plans, this will be a way to quickly be able to search. And then we've also added the individual steps behind this little hover icon. So you can just hover over there if you want to see what different steps are available for that plan. So it just helps you narrow down which plan you want more quickly.
awesome. All
All
right,
right.
so that is the action plan search there. Let's talk about partial addresses.
Yeah, so this was a thing that would come up in certain scenarios. Let's say you want to add a property, but you don't necessarily know the full address of that property. Maybe you just know the city that it's in. Maybe you just know the zip code. Before in Pebble, when you created a property, you would have to type in, if you typed in any part of an address, you would
Mm,
have to type in the full address. Um, and so I can show this here. If we went to properties and we added a property, and then we added this manually. If I had just typed in a city here and said, like, I don't know, West Bend, Montana, uh, the I would not be able to do that because we would say, hey, you entered part of an address, so you'd have to fill out the whole thing. Well, now you can just type in a partial address. So let me just find a county here and we'll type in a random APN number. Now I can just save this with the address there, and then that'll save okay, and we still have that partial
sweet.
address entered in there. So that can be helpful for those of you who are adding properties that may not, where you may not know the full address.
Sure. Awesome. All right, let's touch on this one here. Reorder owners. Let's talk a little bit about
Yeah. So back again on the properties. So if I have a property with multiple owners, and here I've got a property, let's just go ahead and add an owner here. I'll just select a couple owners. Here we go. All right. So
that.
I've got three owners here. I can now reorder these. So I can just drag and drop these and quickly be able to reorder those. So that's reordering owners.
Awesome. Yeah, we're working on a lot of features to streamline how you use Pebble as well, and it's just a lot easier to do certain things, just like you saw with reordering owners. Now, I want to talk quickly about a feature reminder. Now, this isn't really a feature, but I think it's something that people don't realize that, I mean, it should be added as a feature. One of the things that we do here, I think uniquely, is our live training sessions. When you are using or getting into a platform or a piece of software or a product or whatever it is, look at the kind of support you get, and support sort of gets overlooked a lot of times. And so one of the things we do
Mhm.
here is we love connecting live with our users and our community and people who are just interested in Pebble. I talk about it on the podcast too. Feel free to hop on a call with me. And so there's a couple things we do to make sure we continue to support you guys. And in fact, we share some of these new updates on some of these sessions. So we've got 3 live sessions. You literally can jump on, get live support, get questions answered. Now, obviously, if it's a little bit more in depth, we'll probably have to divert you to screen record, and we're going to have to troubleshoot that together. But for a lot of times, most of the questions and things get answered, or unclear things get answered, like by myself, by Kevin, by Mariana. One of us are on the call, and I think there's just a lot of value to that most people, majority of our users, don't use. But then the people that do use it, they're like religiously at these sessions. So I'm going to let you know,
Mhm.
if you head over to pebblerei.com slash, I'm reading it here, live dash training. On that page, all right, you're going to see 3 different sessions. So I'm going to let you open up a tab right now. If you're
And
on your
you
browser,
can share my screen here. I've got it pulled up.
sure, sure.
Mhm.
Let's do that. Yeah. So we've got this here. If you go to the, you've got the 3 sessions, the property import training. Let's just leave it at this screen, Kevin. But this session is all about bringing in your lists, right? That you've pulled maybe from Data Tree, Land Insights, Land Portal, wherever you get your data from. This is what we go through, creating a campaign together, because nothing gets started until you get data in and marketing out, right? The next session is like managing your leads. So like this is a whole different area. You've done your outbound. Now leads are coming in. Well, how do we get them? How do we pipe things in? How do we, verify this is an actual person, or is this somebody who's angry and we don't want to mail them in the future? Or how do we go from our inbox or set up our inbox so we catch all the messages and bring them to our deal board? That's what this session is about, right? Very two like really, really 2 places inside of Pebble where you're spending a lot of time in, and that's why we've got 2 separate sessions for that. And a lot of new people also join us on that call. Now, the last one on the right there is the open office hours. This happens on the Wednesdays in the afternoon, depending on your time zone. But if you can click join here, you'll see the time zones there. But this office hours is just, you come in, you bring any questions with you, and we answer live. In fact, you'll see this pop up in the app at the beginning of the week, where you can actually submit your questions. So you can pre-submit them in, and we can prep an answer for you. Or maybe if we notice it's a little bit more of a in-depth question, we'll get you to work through some stuff before that actual session. So we're there live on Zoom calls with all of you guys. So I wanted to review the live training sessions. That's pebblerei.com/live training. So don't miss that. Other than that, Kevin, thanks again for sharing some of the updates we've got going on in here. Look,
Yeah, yeah. And stay tuned for next month. We actually have quite a few pretty big things coming. And so next month we will be able to show those off for you. We're still in sort of the testing phase of those, and so don't want to reveal them too early. But yeah, some really cool stuff coming down the
sometimes
road.
we even talk about some of these releases before this on the open office hours. So if you want to add that to
Mhm.
your calendar, join us every week. You're more than welcome to. All right, Kevin,
Yeah.
thanks again. And everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. You can click the bell notification so you get notified when these happen. And we'll see you guys next month. Take care, guys.
Thanks.